above xc, then it will be stable if your size criteria is satisfied. That is, R star criteria is satisfied. So any embryo that forms with a size above R star having composition above xc will be stable. Okay? Below xc it cannot form. Even though your size you can get, even though an embryo is forming with a size above R star but below xc composition, then it won't form. So above xc it can form. Maximum delta GV value, what value of delta GV is maximum for the equilibrium composition of x beta, equilibrium composition of the embryo. If your embryo composition is the stable composition of the product, then delta GB is maximum. Ideally that should give minimum delta G star and maximum nucleation rate. However, because your interfacial energy is also composition dependent, it may be the case for certain alloys with compositions less than x beta, your interfacial energy gamma value is very low, so that delta G star is minimum not at x beta but somewhere at some metastable composition. Then the maximum nucleation rate will be for that composition for which delta G star is the minimum. It may not be the x beta. Now if you take derivative of this expression delta GV equal to this expression, this, take derivative with respect to, take derivative of delta GV with respect to xi. Can you do it? So what I want you to do in your notebook is delta GV with xi and make it 0 to find out for what alloy composition, starting alloy composition. So far we have fixed the alloy composition and checked for what embryo composition your nucleation rate is maximum. What I am now asking you to find out for what alloy composition, for a fixed embryo composition, for what alloy composition your nucleation rate will be maximum. Please do it on your notebook. Because your hint is, because your embryo composition is constant, your Gn is constant. So this is constant, Xn is constant, Gn is constant. So first term will be 0 minus of del G del X at composition Xi minus,
it should be on the spin order line. Spin order.
so what is this expression? 1 over lambda
del squared x equals to 0.
So So it is the spinodal point. So if your alloy composition is at the spinodal composition, means this, if your xi is here at the spinodal point, then your delta Gb for whatever, if for a fixed embryo composition, your delta Gb will be maximum. So what you can do is, you can take several alloy compositions, hold it at a particular temperature, find out at for what alloy composition your nucleation rate is maximum. That will be your spinodal point composition. Or you can take one alloy, you check the nucleation rate at various temperature. Whatever temperature it will correspond to the spinodal point for that composition, the nucleation rate will be maximum. So what Baker did is, Baker took assumption that nucleus has the same composition as the. So after doing all these analysis, what Baker did is, Baker assumed the nucleus composition will be of X beta. The embryo the composition is X beta, and then classical nucleation theory. So, and also he assumed that internally it is uniform and it is then he used the R star and delta G star equation. Now when he used delta GV, he actually, for that R star and delta G star, the delta GV is coming from this equation. And what is this equation? What are the things you have? This Gn, Gi, that is the Gibbs free energy. And Gibbs free energy equation is for a regular solution is given by, from thermodynamics, summation xi gi naught plus the mixing term
RT summation xi ln xi
RT summation xi ln xi
plus omega xi
plus that omega xaxb. That omega contains
Interaction.
that z and the interaction parameter is
difference in bond and
Bond and
so what was that? Epsilon AB minus half of epsilon A plus epsilon BB. Your Gibbs free energy of mixing for a regular solution is given by delta Gm is given by xa xb z multiplied by this epsilon plus kt. For per atom it is k, for per mole it is RT summation xi ln xa. So xa ln xa plus xb ln xb, and your Gibbs free energy is given by summation xi gi naught plus this delta Gm. So that you use for to find out Gn for the embryo composition. The Gibbs free energy will be given by this, for matrix composition Gibbs energy, use that equation. So you will get delta GV from this. Using those equations and using this equation, you can get delta GV. And it has been found that gamma is given by 2 epsilon z multiplied by n beta minus n of I whole square multiplied by number of atoms which is situating per unit area of the surface of the nucleus, like Ns star or whatever we did earlier. So your interfacial and so you need gamma and delta GV. Delta GV is obtained from this equation what we had with corresponding G values inside given by this. For gamma interfacial energy, you will see that gamma is 2 epsilon z multiplied by the composition difference square n. Oh sorry, n I have written again. It should be x beta minus xi. X beta minus xi square multiplied by what is ns? It is number of atoms per unit area. Number of atoms per unit area of the surface of the nucleus. So let me repeat what Baker did. After doing all these analyses, Baker assumed the nucleus that forms is of one composition that is of x beta. It is uniform inside, chemically uniform inside the embryo or the nucleus that is forming. Then he used that composition, so composition is fixed now. Then he used the classical nucleation theory with that composition to find out the same equations will come for delta G star and R star. Now delta G star contains delta GV and gamma, which are composition dependent, and that gives me energy equation dependent. Delta GV can be found out from that equation, in which Gibbs free energy terms are there for different compositions, alloy composition and the embryo composition, which can be obtained from the regular solution equation G equal to summation xi gi naught plus delta G mixing. Delta G mixing term is that excess term xa xb epsilon z plus kt summation xi ln xi. And your interfacial energy term, also composition dependent, is proportional to square of the composition difference between your x beta, that is the nucleus composition, minus the alloy composition. So square of that. So 2, this interaction parameter epsilon multiplied by z. What is z? Coordination number multiplied by this square of this term x beta minus xi multiplied by number of atoms situated at the surface of the nucleus. Ns term we also find out earlier also. So that is Ns or Ns term. So this was Baker's treatment of the nucleation. Another treatment of nucleation on the similar note is by a person called Borelius. So there were two papers published in 1937 and in 1951 where the basic assumptions of this model was a group of atoms of fixed size achieve stability of fluctuations in composition. So what Becker did, he assumed composition is fixed at x beta. Then he used the classical nucleation theory to find out what is the critical size of the nucleus. Here, what Borelius assumed is size is fixed, size of the embryo is fixed, composition is the variable. Composition of the embryo is the variable. So a group of atoms of fixed size achieve stability by fluctuations in composition. For what composition it will achieve stability? The nucleus should be stable. He fixed the size. The type of system assumed is similar to that in the Becker treatment, in that strain energies were neglected. When can you neglect the strain energy? When your product volume will be same as the matrix volume. Molar volume will be the same. Or if product is forming in liquid. So in those cases, strain energy can be neglected. In classical nucleation theory, strain energy has been neglected. In addition, interfacial energies was also neglected for Borelius theory. So gamma also was neglected because he assumed that the embryos of fixed size, for what fluctuation, he tried to see for what, through his model, for what fluctuation it will give the maximum nucleation rate. For a fixed size of critical nucleus size. So where gamma is not coming into picture.
Can you repeat this part?
Huh?
Can you repeat this part?
So interfacial energy gamma is also neglected.
Now the first one.
What is the first part?
Fixed size fluctuation.
Okay, here he assumed that nuclei that are forming are of fixed size. For what fluctuation, say fixed size of certain number of atoms or for certain size, for what composition nucleation is happening or nucleation rate is maximum. So he just, in Becker, even though he considered everything, but ultimately he chose embryo composition to be fixed at x beta. Borelius, so here you have two variables, size and composition. Becker did fix the composition and then use the classical nucleation theory to find out R star. What Borelius did is he fixed the size, ignored gamma, and to try to find out for what composition of the embryo your nucleation rate is maximum. Then delta G star is only function of delta GV. And so if you ignore gamma, then your Gibbs free energy change, delta G, will be your delta GV multiplied by volume of the membrane. Say an embryo is forming of Xn composition which contains I number of atoms. Whatever within bracket this term, it is the delta G V, not delta G V, delta G per atom of embryo within bracket, except 1 over lambda within bracket term, that is the delta G per atom of precipitate. So delta G per atom of precipitate, delta G per atom of precipitate or embryo, precipitate or embryo or nucleus, what all are same. Multiplied by number of atoms in that embryo. So that number is given by I. Will be your delta G, and delta G per atom is within the bracket term, that is Gn minus Gi minus Xn minus Xi multiplied by del G del X at